is a retired military chaplain and colonel with the U.S. Air Force who has now made it his mission to raise awareness about suicide prevention. This segment is sponsored by Marquis Who's Who. Michael Heuer is the owner of MH Life Consulting and an independent contractor for LivingWorks Education, and he joins us now with more. Welcome to HRS.
Thank you so much, Tara. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so what inspired you to get into teaching and training work?
Pretty much the same thing that inspired me to become a military chaplain in the first place. I think that my mission in life is to help people, to use what I've got and what I can do to make life better and to make the world a better place. And so that's something I did as a chaplain, and it's something that I can do now, except I don't have to do all the administrative stuff I did as a senior officer. I just do all the fun stuff. I do the teaching, the training, and I'm thrilled with it.
So there are folks out there that are doing similar kind of life coaching work. What makes what you do unique?
There are a couple of things. I think one thing is that I can do several different kinds of training. Now, most of what I'm doing is suicide intervention and suicide alertness training, suicide prevention, and I do that using programs that were developed by LivingWorks Education of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And so that's something that I do that takes most of my time now as an independent contractor. I also can do other kinds of training. For example, when I was on active duty, I developed a one-day curriculum for developing or for presenting in one-day seminar solution-focused brief counseling techniques to caregivers and volunteer caregivers. And so that's another thing that I can do. And also because I was a chaplain, obviously I spoke in religious settings, so I get invitations to do that too.
Yeah.
So under MH Life Consulting, I do a lot of kinds of speaking and teaching.
And I hear there's a motto for MH Life Consulting work. What is it and what does it mean?
My motto that I use is training for life. And that's because everything that I do, I try to do to make people's lives better. You know, I try to make sure that through the suicide prevention work that I do, through the ASSIST program, which is Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training, and also the SafeTALK program. TALK stands for Tell, Ask, Listen, and Keep Safe. I try to make sure that people are safe from the risk of suicide. And I don't do counseling anymore. I don't do therapy. I don't do crisis intervention, which I did a lot of as a chaplain. But what I do now is teaching and training. And so that's an important part of what I do. That is an evidence-based program. You can go on the LivingWorks Education website and you can see there are many studies that have been done to show the efficacy of those programs. When I do the training in solution-focused brief counseling, which I presented to Air Force and Army audiences, that's also an evidence-based approach. And so that's another thing that's there. Another thing that's really important, I think, one of our core beliefs in LivingWorks is that practice is essential. And a lot of times when you go to a seminar or something like that or a workshop, it's slides and talking. You know, it's oral and it's visual, but there's not a lot of kinetic practice. And so what we want to do is make sure that people practice what they're doing. One of the things that I learned as an Air Force officer, although I was not a pilot, was that our undergraduate pilot training people at Randolph Air Force Base, they don't just go to ground school and then say, okay, there's your plane on the ramp, go ahead and fly. They practice. They practice in a simulator, they practice with an instructor pilot, and that's the kind of thing that we do in all the programs that I teach, both the LivingWorks programs, which I do sometimes as a direct contractor, sometimes as a subcontractor for LivingWorks, and in all the training that I do, people have to practice the skills that we're teaching. It's not just talking about it, it's actually doing it. That makes them more confident to do that, and that can actually save lives.
And what excites you the most about the work that you're doing?
I think, actually, a better question maybe is what doesn't excite me? It all excites me.
Yeah, you're making a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all exciting because I know that I am making a difference in people's lives, and in some cases contributing to saving people's lives as I'm training people how to do that and how to notice things that might be concerns so that they can start a conversation and help to save someone's life. And that's part of that motto, training for life. It's all life-oriented. And you know, in the Hebrew culture, when you do a toast, you say l'chaim, you know, to life. And that's important because life is precious. for all of us. And so all the training that I do, all the speaking that I do, it's to enhance people's lives and to ensure people stay alive and that they have an abundant life that can bless themselves and others.
And you're making a difference. We thank you for your service and for what you're doing for folks here now. Thanks for joining us on HRS.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, this segment is sponsored by Marquis Who's Who. For more information on MH Life Consulting, call the number 410-384-8051. You can also email dr.michael.heuer@gmail.com. You can also contact him on LinkedIn at mheuer1. Also, if you or someone you know is in distress and is seeking help or support, you can call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. Someone is standing by 24 hours a day. That number again is 988. We'll link you to all of this information on our website, hamptonroadshow.com.